Hello, welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at a lat stretch. So lat is short for latissimus dorsi muscle, which is it's a really massive muscle that covers a lot of joints. It's actually found on the outside of your upper back region, so sort of runs from about there to around about there without being exact, but just for those people who aren't sure what I'm talking about, that's the lat muscle. Very powerful muscle involved in many things. So how do you do a stretch for this? Well, there's several ways you can do it, but my preferred way is using a Swiss ball, and I'm going to show you a couple of different angles on this in case you can't quite see it, but basically I just roll the ball across the midline, and you can see there's a few things I have to do. So you better see it from a front-on vision when I show you in a minute, but I'm basically trying to sort of like lengthen that part of my upper back area. So it's sort of all of this area, and if you notice very carefully, I have my thumb pointing upward. Most people would have their hand flat on the ball, and they still will get a bit of a lat stretch, but by turning my thumb up like that, it basically puts my shoulder into external rotation. Now, why is that important? Well, one of the important functions of the lats, which works very much in combination with the pecs, is that it performs the role of internal rotation of the shoulder. And internal rotation of the shoulder is often where people have excessive amount of it, and it creates the postural imbalances and poor posture and eventually shoulder and neck problems as a result of excessive internal rotation and a lack of external rotation. So when I'm doing a stretch, I want to try and find a way to get more external rotation, not just stretching the lat, but stretching the lat with external rotation. And you'll see from this front-on vision here how my arm will try to cross the midline. Can you see how it crosses the midline? So when it does that, I'm basically pulling it up more. So I'm really pulling it, and by at the same time turning my thumb up, I'm really winding it even more because I'm pulling it even further like that, if that gives you a better idea of what I mean by that. Alright, so this is a really good stretch, very useful for a person who's has depressed shoulders, which is me, someone in throwing sports, which they use the lats a lot. If you do too many chin-ups, you're going to really need to do a lot of lat stretches. But some people have never done any exercise and they may still have stiff lats just from poor posture, and the depressed shoulders are very common. Alright, so this is a really useful stretch. I might hold that stretch for about 30 seconds to a minute even. Here's a rear view if you want to sort of see it from the rear view. But also at the same time as I'm rolling my hand, I'm sort of trying to sit backwards into my heel. You can see my butt sort of sitting back. What that does is I'm sort of pulling it from both ends. So if I'm pulling it from the top end, me sitting back pulls at that end, and like anything, it's like a rope being just like a tug of war from both ends, and it encourages obviously more flexibility. There's many things you'd need to do in combination with this, obviously, but this is a good starting point for a lot of people who are trying to work out how to get their overhead movement back, because the lats can really limit overhead movement. So thoracic lack of thoracic extension is very much combined with this tight latissimus dorsi flexibility. So that's by far the best stretch that I've found to do that with. There's many others, and I'm not saying they don't work, but this is the one that I prefer. Alright, so I hope you enjoy that video, and we'll see you on our next one.